Mitten, don't bother her. Let her have her fire. See, now she's got to do the circle again. I just get comfortable.
Resignation threat from everybody else left in the department. Like, wait a minute, that all happened, and not that long ago. And the Merrick Garland's nomination has so far been held up by Senate Republicans, so we don't know how long it's going to take to get him in there, and we don't know how he's going to be the most respected law enforcement organization in the United States. But it still is, made of humans, and it's this giant bureaucracy, and it doesn't have necessarily the technological capabilities that even just amateurs can do on their own outside. If you just think about the logistics of this, for example, you're imagining a lot of this is happening via email, right? They have somewhat of an internal system, sort of an IM system, and communicate within the bureau, but it's not, what you can sort of do with these hashtags and just organizing it. And I mean, if you just look at the scope of this it's enormous. I mean, we're talking about literally hundreds of thousands of tips to sort through. And how do you classify that information, and what sort of buckets does it go in, and what sort of ones do you leave out and put behind, and which ones do you concentrate on and say, this is something that we really need to look at quickly? Because, even just as an example of when the tips that we've gotten trying to sort through those, we've had to figure out, okay, which ones are we going to say we really need to focus on this, and which ones are we going to have to leave by the wayside? And the FBI has to sort of do the same thing and identify the people who have a lot of violence, or the people who are easiest to grab. So you sort of have these two buckets at once, and you have to sort of figure out what path they're going to go down. But I think it is really frustrating for these citizen sleuths who put in a ton of work and have just been looking at this every day, to be able to say, okay, well, I gave this tip a month ago and I haven't heard anything back yet. That's frustrating. It sort of feels